What if I told you that sharks are older than trees? Bananas are actually berries. And there's a planet where a single day lasts longer than a year. These all sound fake, but every one of them is completely true. Here are 7 unbelievable facts that will completely change how you see the world. Our first fact takes us deep beneath the ocean's surface, where one of nature's oldest survivors has been around for far longer than you might imagine. Sharks are actually older than trees. Did you know sharks are actually older than trees? It sounds impossible, but it's completely true. Sharks first appeared in Earth's oceans around 450 million years ago, making them one of the oldest groups of animals still alive today. To put that into perspective, when the first sharks were swimming through the oceans, the world looked completely different. There were no dinosaurs, no birds, no mammals, and no forests covering the land. Most life was still living in the sea, while the land was largely empty and covered with small plants. Trees didn't appear until around 390 million years ago. That means sharks had already been swimming through Earth's oceans for approximately 60 million years before the very first tree ever took root. Even more incredible, sharks have survived all 5 major mass extinction events in Earth's history, including the asteroid impact that wiped out the dinosaurs around 66 million years ago. Today, there are more than 500 different species of sharks, from the tiny dwarf Flanton shark, which can fit in the palm of your hand, to the enormous whale shark, the largest fish on Earth. So the next time you see a shark, remember, you're looking at a creature whose ancestors were swimming through oceans long before forests covered the Earth. The natural world is full of incredible mysteries, but our next fact proves that something you see every day is far stranger than most people realize. Did you know bananas are actually berries, but strawberries aren't? It sounds completely backwards, but according to botanists, it's absolutely true. A true berry forms from a single flower with one ovary and usually contains several seeds embedded inside the fruit. Bananas meet all of those requirements, which means they are scientifically classified as berries. Strawberries, however, develop in a completely different way. They grow from a flower with multiple ovaries, making them what's known as an aggregate fruit, not a true berry. And strawberries aren't the only surprise. Believe it or not, grapes, tomatoes, kiwis, and even avocados are all considered true berries too. Meanwhile, fruits that most people assume are berries, like raspberries and blackberries, aren't true berries at all. It just goes to show that nature doesn't always follow the rules we expect. Sometimes, the foods we eat every day have surprising scientific secrets hiding in plain sight. If you thought fruit classification was strange, wait until you discover the next planet in our solar system, where a single day lasts longer than an entire year. Did you know there's a planet where a single day lasts longer than an entire year? It sounds like science fiction, but it's completely true, and that planet is Venus. Venus is often called Earth's twin because it's almost the same size as our planet, but that's where the similarities end. Venus rotates incredibly slowly. In fact, it takes 243 Earth days to complete just one full rotation on its axis. That's how long one day lasts on Venus. Yet Venus travels around the Sun much faster. It completes a full orbit in only 225 Earth days. That means a year on Venus actually finishes 18 Earth days before a single day does. Even stranger, Venus spins in the opposite direction to almost every other planet in our solar system. On Venus, the Sun would appear to rise in the west and set in the east. But the planet is even more extreme than its strange calendar. Thick clouds trap heat so efficiently that surface temperatures reach around 465 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. The crushing atmospheric pressure is more than 90 times greater than Earth's, making it one of the most hostile places in the solar system. So while Venus may look like Earth's sister planet from space, it's actually a scorching world where a day is longer than a year, the sun rises in the west, and no human could survive on its surface. Our next fact brings us back to Earth, where one incredibly short conflict made history is the shortest war ever recorded. Did you know the shortest war in recorded history lasted just 38 minutes? It happened on the 27th of August, 1896, between the British Empire and the island nation of Zanzibar, off the east coast of Africa. The conflict began after the Sultan of Zanzibar died unexpectedly. A new ruler, Sultan Khalid bin Bargash, took power without Britain's approval, despite an existing agreement that required British consent before a new sultan could rule. Britain demanded that Khalid step down immediately and gave him an ultimatum. He refused, believing he could defend the palace with around 2,800 soldiers, several artillery guns, and a royal yacht anchored in the harbour. At exactly 9:02 in the morning, the ultimatum expired. British warships opened fire on the Sultan's palace, bombarding it with powerful naval guns. Within minutes, much of the palace was destroyed. The royal yacht was sunk, and Khalid's forces were overwhelmed. Just 38 minutes later, at around 9:40 a.m., a white flag was raised, bringing the fighting to an end. The Anglo-Zanzibar War became the shortest recorded war in history. The battle was devastatingly one-sided. Around 500 Zanzibari defenders were killed or wounded, while the British suffered just one injured sailor. More than a century later, the Anglo-Zanzibar War remains a remarkable reminder that some of history's biggest events can happen in less time than it takes to watch your favorite TV show. History is full of incredible stories, but our next fact comes from the deep ocean, where an animal has 3 hearts and blue blood. Did you know that an octopus has not 1, but 3 hearts? It sounds unbelievable, but it's completely true. These incredible creatures are among the most intelligent animals in the ocean, and their unique bodies are unlike almost anything else on Earth. 2 of an octopus's hearts are dedicated to pumping blood through its gills, where oxygen is collected from the water. The 3rd heart pumps oxygen-rich blood around the rest of its body, keeping its powerful muscles and remarkable brain supplied with energy. But here's something even stranger. When an octopus swims, the main heart actually stops beating. Swimming is so exhausting that these animals prefer to crawl along the seabed using their 8 flexible arms whenever possible, conserving precious energy. Their blood is unusual too. Instead of being red like ours, it's blue. That's because octopus blood contains a copper-rich protein, hemocyanin, which transports oxygen far more efficiently in the cold, low-oxygen waters where many octopuses live. Combined with 3 hearts, blue blood, incredible camouflage, problem-solving intelligence, and the ability to squeeze through impossibly small gaps, it's no wonder octopuses are considered some of the most extraordinary animals on our planet. Nature has created some incredible life forms. But our next fact reveals something even sweeter, because one everyday food has remained perfectly edible for thousands of years. Did you know that honey is one of the only foods that never goes bad? It might sound impossible, but archaeologists have discovered jars of honey inside ancient Egyptian tombs that are believed to be over 3,000 years old. Amazingly, when they were found, the honey was still perfectly preserved. So, what makes honey so special? Unlike most foods, honey contains very little water. This creates an environment where bacteria and other microorganisms simply can't survive. On top of that, honey is naturally acidic, making it even harder for harmful microbes to grow. Bees also play an important role in this incredible process. As they collect nectar from flowers, they add special enzymes that help transform the nectar into the thick, golden honey we know today. During this process, much of the water is removed, giving honey its remarkable ability to last for centuries. If you've ever found an old jar of honey in the back of your cupboard and noticed it's become thick or crystallized, don't worry. That doesn't mean it's spoiled. Simply placing the jar in warm water will usually return it to its smooth, runny texture. So while most foods eventually expire, honey is nature's exception. Stored correctly in a sealed container, it can remain safe to eat for thousands of years, making it one of the most extraordinary foods on earth. Our final fact takes us away from ancient Egypt and across the globe, where you'll discover that some countries have something most of us take completely for granted: rivers that simply don't exist. Did you know there are entire countries where not a single permanent river flows? It sounds almost impossible, but it's completely true. When most of us think of countries, we imagine rivers supplying fresh water to cities, farms, and wildlife. Yet several nations have no permanent rivers at all. Countries including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain have no rivers that flow all year round. Instead, they rely on other remarkable ways to provide water for millions of people. Much of their drinking water comes from desalination plants, where salt is removed from seawater to make it safe to drink. These countries also make use of underground aquifers and seasonal dry riverbeds, known as wadis, which only carry water after heavy rainfall. Despite having no permanent rivers, some of these nations are home to some of the world's most modern cities, including Dubai, where millions of people live, work, and visit every year. It just goes to show that with innovation and careful management, people can thrive even in some of the harshest environments on Earth. So the next time you see a river flowing through your town or city, remember that in some parts of the world, an entire country exists without one. And that brings us to the end of today's journey through 7 unbelievable facts that really are true. Which fact surprised you the most? Was it sharks being older than trees, honey lasting for thousands of years, or countries with no permanent rivers? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your favorites. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and join us for more incredible discoveries. Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and keep expanding your horizon.